Good morning. For those of you who don't know, my name is Maya Karen. I run a fashion blog called Classically Kept. It does feature luxury, contemporary, and how to style, and now natural hair care. So if you were into any of those things, please consider subscribing to my channel. Click the notification bell. That way you will never miss a video. So this is my third time doing this video and you guys really like it. So we are going to go over the things that I learned about my hair in 2023, and then we will go over my goals or my hair goals for 2024. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so let's start with my takeaways for 2023. And the very first one, I will be brief because I spoke about this in my previous video talking about how I had to cut my hair and then how I grew it back. I will link that down below. But the very first takeaway for 2023 is trims. So in 2022, I realized that I was not that natural who could just trim their hair once a year and be done with it, right? So in 2023, I trimmed my hair 3 times every 4 months, right? So, and you guys know how I feel about healthy ends. You guys know I love big hair. You guys know I love thick hair. But one of the other reasons as to why I kept up with my trims is because I noticed a huge difference when it just came to my wash day, when it came to management of my hair, when it came to the manageability of my hair, when it came to remoisturizing, when it came to retwisting. Just my everyday hair care or my every other day hair care was so much easier because I was not fighting my hair, right? I was not fighting while I was, remoisturizing or retwisting. I was also not fighting my ends. I was also not detangling my hair as much, okay? So I love my healthy ends. I love my thick and full ends, but also the manageability aspect of it is the reason why I will continue to get trims, right? Now, this year I might not need 3. This year I might not need 2. When I talk about trims, it's just as needed, okay? The next takeaway for 2023 is amla powder. It is also known as Indian gooseberry. It would probably considered, or it is considered, an Ayurvedic herb, which is an Indian herb, right? They kind of take like this holistic approach when it comes to their hair care. I will link this down below, excuse me, but complete game changer. And I will also link the short down below of how I put it in my conditioner. Literally, you just take a tablespoon or a teaspoon and you just literally swirl it in. That's it, right? You just kind of mix it in. Heat it up a little bit, put it on your hair. My conditioner or my deep conditioner says leave it on for 30 minutes. I put on a cap, then I'll put on like a Target bag, put my heating cap on, and that's it, right? I have noticed such a difference when it comes to adding the amla powder into my deep conditioner, right? As I told you guys before, I like to keep my hair care tips simple. I like to keep my regimens simple. So instead of applying a deep conditioning mask and then rinsing that out and then applying an amla mask, it's just a 2-in-1, right? But I have noticed shinier hair. I have noticed more manageable hair. I have noticed my hair does not dry out as much. And that's the one thing that I love about the amla powder. You can take away everything else, but the fact that it allows me to maintain moisture days on end is what I love about it. I remember one time, I think I washed my hair on a Monday. I didn't have to re-moisturize until like Thursday night, right? You guys have heard me talking about re-moisturizing. I would take out each twist. I'll give myself a scalp massage. If anything or any ends look a little wonky, I would do like a little snip. I also look for single strand knots. With the amla powder, there are weeks where I've actually only had to re-moisturize my hair once a week, okay? Okay, so the next takeaway in 2022's video, I talked about stretching. So for me, 2023 was definitely the year of the stretch. Prior to 2023, I was doing just mini twists. I would do it every 2 weeks at the most, as you guys have heard me say, was 3 weeks. I will say that my hair does like being stretched. I like the look. Again, I like the ease of it. So in 2023, I did a couple of different methods to stretch my hair. And then I just kind of like ranked them to see which one I like the best. The very first one that I tried was braiding. Didn't too much care for that. It stretched, but I just felt like it took so much more time than twist. When I do twist, I'm in and out. With braiding, I kind of actually had to kind of not memorize, but I kind of had to remember how to braid as it has been so long. Then I tried banding. I absolutely love the banding. I love the outcome. And I actually like the fact that even though my hair was banded, I could just kind of tie it up and it was still like a hairstyle, right? And then the last one is going to be the tension method. And basically what the tension method is that you take your blow dryer, you stretch your hair, and then you just go down your hair shaft, right? It's more so indirect heat. As far as stretching, I never actually, aside from now that my hair is straight, because you guys know that I straighten my hair every once a year. Aside from the tension method, there was never any time that I actually took my blow dryer and just physically put it on my hair, except for this one time here in December, right? So I will say that I absolutely loved the tension method, but I did not like the fact that if I was going to choose to do the tension method every single time I wash my hair, which would be every 2 weeks, which would be twice a month, so 2 times 12 is 24. I did not like the idea of putting heat or indirect heat on my hair 24 times a year. That just seems excessive to me, right? So that's why I kind of went back and forth with the banding and when I went kind of back and forth with the tension method, okay? But stretching. I will say this though, I think for the beginning of 2024, once I wash my hair, I think I'm going to go back to my mini twist, right? I was out running errands today and I saw this woman. She had the most gorgeous sister locks and they were full and they were long and they made me miss my mini twist, right? So I think for 2024, I'm going to start out with, I'm going to get a good trim. But I think for 2024, I'm going to start out with my mini twist and then I will segue into the stretching. The next takeaway, the Rev Air. And I know there is a little bit of controversy when it comes to this particular hair drying system in the natural hair community. I will say this, you guys know that in 2022, that is what I use to straighten my hair. You guys also know that I have stated before many times, and I have not given you guys an update, but I'm ready to give you one. But I have stated many times that the Rev Air and I are not friends, okay? But I am happy to report that we are friends now. So let me explain to you kind of what I have done or what I have changed. Number one, reading is fundamental. You have to make sure that you read the instructions, right? And one of the things that someone suggested to me is that I actually should not be using any product when it comes to using the Rev Air. You guys know how I feel about heat damage, so the very first time that I used the Rev Air, I doused my hair in heat protectant, right? And it felt so dry and it was so stiff and it was actually quite tangled. So of course, the very first thing that I did was I stopped using heat protectant, which that just gave me anxiety to the nth degree, right? But then instead of using the highest form of heat, what I have actually been doing when it comes to the Rev Air for a stretch and just to make sure that my hair is dry, I have actually been using it on the cool setting. I just want to make sure that I'm using it properly. So I went on YouTube to see if anybody else was doing it. Didn't really see anybody else doing it that way. Then I actually reached out to someone at Rev Air and said, hey, I love your product. I love what you're doing, but I do not necessarily want to put heat on my hair every single time that I wash my hair, that I want to stretch it, right? And I just simply I said, listen, can I use it on the cool setting? And they said, yes. What they did say is that your hair probably won't get as straight. It probably won't be as long and it probably won't be as stretched. I said, that's fine. I'm not necessarily looking for bone straight hair. You guys know I don't like bone straight hair. I like thick, I like fluffiness, right? So I have been cleared from Rev Air or from a representative from Rev Air to use the cool setting. If you are someone who has liked the Rev Air, but you do not like necessarily the idea of using heat on your hair that much, I would suggest to you the same thing. Try out the cool setting and see how you like it, okay? But I'm happy to report that the Rev Air and I are now friends, all right? Okay, my next takeaway, let's talk about single strand knots. In my previous video, I talked about how I am seeing more single strand knots as my hair gets longer, right? It's inevitable. When I first started my hair journey, I didn't see them really at all. It's when my hair started growing past my bra strap is when they were starting to pop up. I will say this though, and I believe I mentioned this, I want to say with not the banding method, but with the first tension method video that I did. I noticed that I actually can combat easier single strand knots or fairy knots when my hair is stretched as opposed to when my hair is in mini twist, right? Someone asked me a question if I do mini twist on stretched hair or wet hair. I do my mini twist on dry hair that has been dried in jumbo twist. And then I take each jumbo twist section and I break it down into mini twists. Let's kind of talk about why. And when you think about it, it makes sense, right? When your hair is in mini twist, and I just explained to you how I install my mini twists are going to curl upon themselves, especially when I'm remoisturizing, right? They do have a tendency to shrink. And with that shrinkage, especially on the ends, right, they're going to curl upon themselves, or which is the perfect environment for single fairy knots to appear, right? As opposed to when my hair is stretched and my ends are stretched as well, I notice a significant difference when it comes to my hair being stretched with the single fairy knots and with my hair with the mini twist. Is that going to deter me from wearing mini twists? Absolutely not. Whenever someone asks me the question, Maya, how did you retain your hair growth? How are you able to get your hair so long? My number one answer will always be, of course, low manipulation. But okay, if someone wants to take it a step further and say, well, what style did you use to also get that when it comes to the low manipulation? Mini twist. I will stand on that 10 toes down. I swear by them, okay? And really, unless the single strand knot is causing tangles and is causing me problems, I really don't have an issue with it, right? At this point in time, I don't actually have time, or at this stage or at this point in my life, I don't actually have time one day out of the week or just once every 2 weeks to do a search and destroy. There are people who do it. I used to do it, but I just don't have the time. And quite frankly, I have more hair and thicker hair than I did when I first started my natural hair journey, right? So what I do to combat that, especially when it comes to when I install my mini twist, is that whenever I am taking them out, whenever I am reinstalling, or whenever I am remoisturizing my twist, if a twist at the end looks a little wonky, I will do a little bit of dusting. I will chop it off. Even if I see a single strand knot, I'll pull it out and I'll chop it off. I have noticed that if I keep up with it that way, when my hair is in mini twist, that I am able to combat it that way, okay? But as far as being stretched in mini twist, I have noticed now, since I've been in my year of the stretch for 2023, I can say that I have noticed a significant, I guess you could say, reduction in single strand knots when it comes to my hair being stretched. Okay, the next takeaway. Follow me for a second, go on this journey with me, stay with me, okay? Sweet almond oil. So I know we are not supposed to self-diagnose, but I have this working theory. And it starts all the way back in, let's say, 2005, 2006. So just go on this journey with me, right? When? I can admit, and I will admit, that I was a when girl, okay? I was a when girl down, loved the stuff. And to be completely honest, I'm aware of the lawsuit, and I stopped using it way before that. But when products was the only time that I could literally take my hands, and just slide it through my hair, okay? Just slide it through my hair. So that's really what got me, right? I noticed that when I was using the sweet almond, when I was using the when, that I was having an allergic reaction, like coughing, sneezing, itchy scalp, all of that, right? And I'm in college, so, I can buy it when I can buy it, right? There was sweet almond oil in it, right? Sally actually came out with, I guess you could say, we would call it a dupe now. Now, back then they were calling it the off-brand. And I believe it was called Hair One, right? So I finished my when bottle, coughing and sneezing and all. I paid for it, I'm going to use it. Plus it worked. Hair One, I had the exact same reaction, right? It still worked, but it didn't work as well as the when, but I had the same reaction. I said, okay, there's something going on, because once I had the allergic reaction, I would try a different shampoo, I would try a different conditioner, and nothing was happening, right? That was the only thing that I changed. So I look at the back of both bottles and I look at the ingredients, and the same ingredient is in it, which is sweet almond oil, right? All right, let's fast forward, I would say probably like to now in 2023. We're all aware of My L Organics. We are all aware that My L Organics has been acquired. We are all aware of the viral sensation of the My L Rosemary Oil, right? So prior to me buying the rosemary oil, I bought the rest of the My L line with the rosemary. I bought the shampoo, I bought the conditioner, and then I believe I bought like the styling milk. So I bought the rosemary line because there is scientific evidence that surrounds rosemary and its properties, talking about helping to retain length, talking about cells being regenerated, and talking about thickness of hair. All of that dried my hair out, so I stopped using it. Then, of course, the My L rosemary oil went viral. At the time, I had never heard about it, right? So I said, you know what? I'm going to try it. People have been having great results. The minute that I put it on my scalp, I would probably say 3 days later, my scalp was on fire. I turn the bottle over and I see that it has sweet almond oil in it. Okay, so I can no longer use it. Like, my scalp was on fire. So I also like Camille Rose. At one point I was using Camille Rose products, right? So I go to Target and I see that they also have a rosemary oil product. I use that. I would probably say within 3 days of that, my scalp is on fire. And at both of these times, this was the only thing that I was putting on my scalp. I turn the bottle over, and what's the ingredient? Sweet almond oil. So I'm going to say that I think that I am allergic to sweet almond oil. Maybe it could be the other properties. Maybe it could be a certain compound. Maybe it can be a combination of a couple of the product ingredients with the sweet almond oil. But for 4 products, and for the past, decade, sweet almond oil has been the main ingredient. I don't know if you guys have ever gone to your doctor and they've done that prick test on your back to see what you are allergic to. I don't know if they have a way of testing for sweet almond oil, but I think I may be allergic to sweet almond oil. Okay, that's just something that I've observed. In the comments, let me know if the rosemary oil has either worked for you or has not worked for you. I'm curious. The last takeaway for 2023 is going to be permanent parts. So I was introduced to this concept, I would probably say mid 2023, when in actuality, I had already been doing this to a certain degree. So let's say at the end of 2022, I actually switched my part. I had a side part right here. I would wash my hair like that. I would style my hair like that. I would trim my hair like that. I would straighten my hair like that. And I could probably take this headband off and I could probably find the part, right? For, I would probably say all of 2023, I've had this part down the middle, right? So I had been doing it kind of without hearing about or without being aware of this idea of permanent parts. There are some people who say don't do it. There are some people who say they have no issue with it. I'm going to say this. I myself have not seen any issues with permanent parts. With my permanent parts for 2023, I have not noticed any breakage, right? Not where the parts are, because I know for a lot of people they're talking about, the tension and pulling your hair the same way. So for instance, let's say you have a part in the middle and you have a part here, right? And you take this section of hair and you're always, brushing it down, you're braiding it, you're twisting it. The idea behind permanent parts, or what people are saying the issue is that the tension from just right here and constantly doing it this way is where you might run into issues when it comes to breakage and things like that. Me personally, I don't have an issue with permanent parts because it makes life easier for me, right? So on wash day, I have the same parts throughout the entire wash day. I have this permanent part here, or I have a part right here. I have a part here. I have a part here. So this is section 1 and then section 2. And then in the back, I have 6 sections. Those sections, I go from, as we say in the insurance, from cradle to grave. I go from all the way from taking the old twist out, all the way to shampoo, deep condition, detangle, and restyling. Those jumbo twists that you see in my videos are the exact same parts, the exact same permanent parts, or the exact same way that I wash my hair. For 2024, I will probably say that I am going to continue that because it just made things so much easier, right? Permanent parts. So there are some people who are going to be able to do it. There are some people who are not going to be able to do it, right? And that just kind of circles back around to what's for you might not be for somebody else, and what's for somebody else might not be for you. So I'm saying for myself personally, permanent parts, I have not noticed any breakage around the parts, okay? Okay, so now let's get into my goals for 2024. So the very first thing that I do want to incorporate into my hair care regimen in 2024, and I have started doing my research and I'm getting ready to order it and I'm so excited, is going to be a shebe. There is this, controversy surrounding it. Does it work? Is it real? What's going on? The women in Chad. I think that I would thoroughly enjoy just the journey and the experience. The reason why I want to try this shebe, and I will show you what I mean in a second. And as a matter of fact, I'll just show you now. So in 2024, I want to address my problem area. For a lot of women, the hair at the nape area is shorter, thinner, and less dense. I will show you what I mean. If I take a section of hair from this area and go all the way down with my fingers, you will notice as I reach the end of my hair, it is not as thick as it is from the root. If I take a section of hair from the front or from the top of my head, you can see that it is even and basically the same the entire way down. Shebe will help protect the shorter and thinner hairs as they grow out. I will, of course, add rosemary oil and other essential oils, but this year I want to focus on growing out that area to its full thick potential. Y'all know how I feel about thick hair and big hair. Okay, and the next goal, which should be no surprise because it's going to be a goal for every single year, is to just keep up with my hair, especially my ends. You guys know how I feel about thickness. You guys know how I feel about ends. I want to make sure that my ends are intact. I want to make sure that they are thick. I want to make sure that they are full, and I want to make sure that they are healthy, right? The next one is going to be stretching. I want to get better with my stretching technique. Not necessarily the braiding. And for those of you wondering about African threading, I tried African threading, I would probably say maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I'm just not that talented, okay? I would actually have to get someone to help me with that. And I would much rather me be the only person doing my hair, right? The only hands that I want in my hair are mine, okay? So African threading as of right now is not an option. But I want to get better with my stretching technique, whether that be with the Rev Air, whether that be sometimes incorporating heat. I just want to get better. I want to get better with the tension method because I really, really like that. And I want to get better with the bending method because I really like that, okay? And then the next one after that is going to be just to learn my hair more. I am always learning something new. Like I learn something new about my hair every single time I straighten my hair. Even though it's only once a year, so I do consider myself very much still a novice, but it looks better and it gets better every year, right? In 2017, I looked absolutely crazy. In 2018, I looked half crazy. And then in 2019 is when it got better. But I just want to continue to grow in my hair growth journey, okay? And then my last goal is going to be, because someone has asked me this question before, is going to be what is my, goal length? What is my hair goal length? I will say that I want my hair to continue to flourish and be as long as it's going to be, right? What I will say though is if I'm ever going to cut my hair, it's going to be because I'm able to sit on my hair, right? If there is ever a situation or if there is ever a time where I am actually able to sit on my hair, for me personally, that's too long. It's going to have to be cut. So if I'm sitting down and like the ends of my hair are like right at like where the chair is, that's fine. But if I sit down and like my hair is like coming with my skirt or coming with my dress, my hair is too long. So to answer that question, I will allow my hair to grow as long as it wants to be, but that is my cutoff. If I can sit on my hair, it's too long, okay? So those are my goals for 2024. In the comments, let me know what you learned about your hair in 2023. And also in the comments, let me know what your goals are for 2024. I just want to remind you that here on YouTube, I do upload videos every Wednesday and Sunday. And of course, right here or right here, I'll put my Instagram handle. Thank you so much for hanging out with you guys. Bye.
We always have it coming.